Hello friends, and welcome to a video that I am not sure I should be making. I have stumbled onto an account that is being boosted, which is bad. Smurfing is wrong, account boosting is wrong, and a waste of your money. So I feel a little guilty about highlighting this type of behavior, but it is kind of useful to show you the truth about gaining MMR in Dota 2, because there's a lot of Dota players out there who are a little bit delusional in the realities of gaining MMR. I'm not here to point any fingers, but this is an intervention from your loved ones. I'm talking about you. I'm gonna show you the most important things this Smurf does to win nearly 100% of their games, and I hope it will break some of you and your misconceptions about gaining MMR. Smurfs are very cautious at the start of the game. Which of these players do you think is the account booster? Now, which of these players do you think is the account booster? Take a wild guess. The lesson here is that at the start of the game, we are all level 1 heroes with 600 net worth, and there's only so much you can do, even if you have 10,000 MMR over your opponents. But every second that passes in the game is a chance for the Smurf to make a better decision than everyone else in the game and start to gain gold and XP over everyone else. So they don't try to do too much at the start of the game. They're looking for a very safe and consistent start so that over time they can pass everyone, and then they'll have a bunch of tools at their disposal to destroy everyone in the game. This account booster happens to be a carry player with 15 successful predictions, doubling down as well. By the end of this video, you'll understand why it doesn't really matter what role you play or rank. So don't really worry about the fact that it's a carry POV here. There are still things you can take from this video into your own gameplay, starting with this. It looks very basic. It looks AFK. It was actually quite high level. Luna is standing in a very defensive position. The best place a carry can stand, essentially, for the bounty rune if they're not going with their team on an aggressive play. She is standing back here. She's not standing on the rune where people from high ground can get her. She's not standing here where smoke breaks, she gets hit by the gale and she can't make it to a tower and die. You know, she is standing here where if they find her, she is relatively close to a tier 2. She can run back this way. She's a fast nighttime hero with extra vision. She is in a very good spot, and it's very easy to just overlook this. But what it means is that she will not grief herself before the game begins. She's going to give herself a very safe start. Whatever rank, whatever role you are, whatever draft you have, making a smart move at the start of the game is important. You can look for advantages like the first blood, but you don't want to take a lot of risk and lose a lot of health or die before the game begins when there is no need to. And a lot of you do it. A lot of you take crazy risks. You don't know they're crazy risks, but you grief yourself before the laning even begins. You will not see that from this Smurf. You will not see other major mistakes. We're going to just brush over the fact that her timing is going to be better, right? Like when going for the last hit, she will pretty much get it at the soonest possible moment before everyone else in the lane. That is hard to replicate. Over time, you will get better at it. But that is one of the things that the Smurf can do that is very difficult to replicate without a lot of practice. So I'm not going to focus too much on it, but it's obviously good to work on for yourself. But play style and decision making that I want to emphasize here, that will be something you can work towards. It will just take time to understand this. Luna is going to very much play as if she was on her own. She will let the silencer do whatever, who is late to lane, by the way. She is starting 1v2. You are not going to see her take crazy risks. If she has to miss CS, she will miss CS. But these guys will make mistakes. In a 2v1 lane, they're not going to be punishing Luna right away. The Venomancer is just going to be like wandering around. That is what happens in a lot of games, is that there's any number of mistakes from people that balance out. Silencer is making a mistake being late to lane. Venomancer is going to make a mistake even though he is in the lane. So the Smurf, as long as they don't make any major mistakes, will eventually come out ahead, even if they have to lose in the short term. So as we get going, right, that last 2 people going for the deny, they mistime it, the Smurf gets it. No crazy aggression up here, losing a bunch of health to Venomancer and Timbersaw before the silencer gets here. She is very careful, using auto attacks at the last second possible as the range, or like as soon as this range creep dropped below the threshold, she got the last hit, which gave her enough time to now Lucent Beam another creep. She didn't go up too far. She didn't ruin any equilibrium right off the bat. As this first wave is dying, notice she is still here without the need of her silencer, and she has 4 last hits. She stepped up to get as close to the creep as possible to increase her odds of getting the last hit so that her projectile didn't need to travel further. That's what allowed her to get the last hit versus Timbersaw. Now, there is some aggression to that. Notice these two heroes got a little close, could have harassed her, but she only did it for the very last creep. She did it near her tower so that there isn't a lot of risk of aggression, and she has a bunch of regen to do it. If she was missing more health, if it was in a more dangerous area, she would have just let it go. But the Smurf knows, I can do this kind of advanced mechanic. I'm not going to lie, getting close to the CS and doing all of it. Once you know about it, you're like, it's not that fancy. I do that stuff. But knowing when to do it versus it's not worth doing it is what's important. And that's what the Smurf will differentiate. So for the very first wave, it's still balancing here. There's technically an extra range creep, but it's at the front. It can be killed, and then it will be, the lane is fixable. And she also won't take a lot of risks, kind of knowing that at this bracket, these guys will mess up equilibrium anyways. So when she has a chance, she'll help the Silencer a little bit. You see like a Lucent Beam to harass the Venomancer, but Silencer used the Q, and then she didn't just run at the Venomancer. This is another thing that Smurfs are really good about. They will highly prioritize CS and balancing equilibrium in a way that they do not need their supports to do anything. Like, oh, my supports are bad, they're not pulling because I griefed my own equilibrium and shoved it out, and my support's not fixing it for me. The Luna will not make mistakes like that. And if she does, it's intentional, and she will do the pulls herself. She essentially lets Silencer function on his own, and if it is wise to join, she joins. And if it is not, she will do her own stuff. She knows exactly when to go and when to cut it off. That is the part that is really hard to do if you are just, I want to get good. I want to do what a Smurf does. Do you know exactly the levels of aggression you should have? That is something that is built over thousands of hours of gameplay, and it's not easy to replicate whether you are a carry, a support, mid lane, or whatever, knowing exactly how much to push it. Like, have you ever seen the mid laners playing each other? By the way, she has a hoodwink mid who's going to lose this lane, spoiler alert. Have you ever seen at a pro match the mid laners who, like, they fight a little bit, and then one guy has like 100 health and is still CSing, and the other guy's here, and you're like, how can he stay there? How is he not like running away scared? Because he knows this guy is out of mana, this guy is low on cooldowns, he cannot reach me, he will have to walk this way, I will have time to get away. They know exactly how far they can push it, and that is really tough to replicate as just a random player looking to improve. It takes time to build that sense, but that is why the Smurf has that sense already, and they can just do it instantly. The lane is starting to push out here, and in a game, you never know exactly how the lane is going to go, but Luna will just adjust to whatever is happening, right? He's not going to chase this creep and this Venomancer, going to just work on getting that melee creep low, harassing it, get equilibrium to kill off her range creep. And notice she knows she has Lucent Beam, so she is going to stay here to prioritize getting this range CS and then denying her own. Timber did not do the same. He and Venomancer did not coordinate in any way whatsoever, individually or together, for one person to get this and then fall back to the range, right? We are a minute and 39 seconds in. There's a lot of different mistakes these guys are making to mess up creep equilibrium or not take advantage of it that Luna is. For example, here, right? She goes for the deny. She actually misses it. So like I said, not perfect gameplay. But she does not walk under the tower with these creeps. I see this all the time. Does she need Silencer to fix the lane equilibrium after she pulls this here, and then Timber holds this out here, and now the lane's up here, and you're like, oh, my support's not pulling, they're not doing their stuff? No. She's running these creeps around herself. This is not hard to do, it's not fancy, but she remains aware of what is happening in the lane and does it herself. The Silencer was not looking at these camps. He's not thinking about equilibrium. She just runs it around and then fixes it herself. And as she sees, okay, Timbersaw started to kill this off, so I can start trimming this off. So she attacked the creeps, but she knew she could do it because she looked up here. I see a lot of carry players drag it under tower, wait, hold it to meet the creeps, and then just attack nonstop, even though they are doing a much better job of fixing it, right? But Luna is adapting to the information she is gathering and taking the best decision. So without Silencer really doing that much, he's just been like running and harassing at the enemy. The equilibrium is still here 2 minutes in. This is important. The first few minutes are very important into the lane because this is where the carry player will struggle the most as the weakest part of their game, but over time they will get items, they will get levels, and things will be easier to play the lane or to go jungle depending on what hero they're playing. Now here, This is a pretty fine line here where there are a lot of creeps coming in, and I would actually usually recommend don't push it here, guys. Just play carefully and farm. But the Smurf knows, how far can I push this? Can I kill this Venomancer, or should I just be like waiting in the lane? How much regen do I have? If I take a lot of damage here, will I then get bullied out by the Timbersaw and I can't approach? She has enough regen to take this risk to do a little bit to the Venomancer, and then realizes, okay, he's actually gonna die, so I don't have to chase further. I don't have to literally get the last hit. I know he's gonna die, so I am immediately turning around back into the lane, and if he lives somehow, no problem. But guess what? The Smurf has checked the items, knows the burst heals, knows the damage, and he's like, that guy's dead. I don't need to chase any further. I'm not gonna waste any time walking up. Starts heading back, keeps in mind, I'll just deny the silencer if I can. If I don't get it, no big deal. But here we are. I am in the lane. I participated in a kill. I didn't quite get it. I got the assist, but the lane remains here. I am still healthy. I have a lot of regen. All smart decisions, no major mistakes. 2.5 minutes in, pulls the creep under tower. This is usually bad, but when there are more enemy creeps than your creeps, this is good to prevent the enemy from diving you. So Luna drags it under here. She's even gonna miss some CS under the tower because even for Smurfs, it can be tricky to last it under tower. Sometimes it is just tough to tell, but that's not the end of the world. Like, as long as the major choices are there. For example, maintain CS, and then as Silencer comes back, they go together on the Timbersaw. Now that's pretty straightforward. Probably a lot of you could do the same thing. The thing here is that Timbersaw made the mistake. He didn't realize Silencer's respawning. He's gonna TP back to lane. My Venomancer's respawning, but he respawns up here and he has to come in here. I'm a level 2 Timbersaw. He stuck around too long and gave a free kill to Luna. It is not that Luna did some super fancy trick to kill Timbersaw. She is just not making the mistakes. And when the enemy makes mistakes, she will capitalize on it. So you all want to do the same thing too. You don't have to worry about like, oh, well, Zach, you're showing me a game where their offlane was so bad, or like my support is really bad compared to the Silencer. It doesn't matter. Focus on yourself, and if your teammates make mistakes, you have to do your best to adapt to it. That's what gaining MMR is. And your opponents, will make mistakes. Will it be the same mistakes that we're gonna see in these games? I don't know. But they will make some kind of mistake that you look to capitalize on. After that kill, she does not have a lot of mana, and there are a lot of creeps pushing in. So does she chase for this 2v1 Venomancer fight and waste her time? No, she just focuses on it. Look how close it is. But she knows, it's not worth my time. I just want to get the CS. I want to get to my power treads. I want to reach the point where I don't even have to play the lane. I can go jungle, and chasing that Venomancer isn't worth my time. Here she pulls it under tower. Oh, that's not usually great. That's going to push out the equilibrium. But notice Silencer is over here getting ready to stack. I'm pretty sure she probably asked Silencer to stack because this is actually quite rare to see support to do really at any bracket because it's not usually worth the time. I'm pretty sure the Smurf asked him to do this. He is here way too early. It is very early to be here stacking. He's going to be wasting a lot of time there, but he's going to be stacking. Whatever your support happens to be doing, and you are stuck in the 1v2, she does not try to lane up here 1v2 to get hit by 2 level 3 heroes. Earlier, she was willing to take that risk. 1 level 1 hero under tower versus 2 level 1 heroes, there's not as much danger. Now, she could easily lose half her health if she walked up too far. So she just creep aggro's under the tower to get what farm she can safely, and notice the timing. 3:39, uses the Q to secure the range creep, doesn't walk up and take a huge risk, keeps aware of the time, runs up and does her own pull. So even if the Silencer wasn't being useful to her right now in the stack, she is doing everything she can to get her own farm safely, sees the Venomancer over here, oh, this is a really easy kill, I'll come over. Now, some of you are thinking like, well, she's being delivered these free kills, the Timber, the Veno, whatever, and I get that, kind of, how it goes. She will just take advantage of the best situation. When kills are given to her, she will take it. If no kills are given to her, she will still be okay, I promise you. And so that you guys don't say like, oh, well, I could climb if I had a Silencer like this. Her mid is losing hard to the sniper. Her off lane is losing hard up here. So it's balanced in some way in this example. She doesn't mess with this Timbersaw, just gets her own CS until the creeps are kind of done, and then she comes over. But it doesn't chase there, knows the creep wave is coming in, comes and gets this, buys her own clarity to deal with her mana, and then doesn't sit around. A lot of carry players walk up here. My supports aren't up here. They're pulling, you know, what are they doing? She doesn't take the risk of being up here versus the Timbersaw, versus the Venomancer. How can I get gold? I'll come to this camp. And as it gets dangerous, because the Venomancer maybe comes over, I'll back off a little bit. And now I'll farm a small camp. I'm doing a lot on my own to get gold and maintain equilibrium as best I can. Venomancer comes up. She didn't chase that hard. She knew he was going to die and already started backing up. If she chased even 1 or 2 more seconds forward, which a lot of players would do because they don't know the math that Venomancer's dead, Timbersaw closes the distance and can finish this kill. 400 health on his own, right? Just a couple spells. As Luna tries to slowly run back here because she's affected by a Venomancer slow, she would die. Luna knew, I did just enough damage to get this Venomancer killed, and I am immediately backing into safety. Those are the snap decisions that will keep her alive as best as possible. She will sometimes die. Like in this game, she actually doesn't. But other Smurf games that I took a look at, she does occasionally die, sometimes gets the math wrong, but very few times. And that's what you want to aim for in your own games. I never expect anyone to be as good as a Smurf, but as best to your own ability to limit these mistakes to improve your odds at winning. Here, remains aware of the time, right? She was low from that fight. She tried to farm the camp. Timber realized, came over, contested her. She backed off. She didn't try to like, I'm going to take the risk for the CS. She knows I got to go. 546, quick evaluation. This lane, it's going to take a while to push up because of the catapult wave. She is too low to walk up. She will die if she walks up. These creeps are going to be stuck here for a long time, so there's no point in waiting around. There are no camps here. What does she do? She actually leaves the lane very early to meet her Morbid Mask and stack a camp. And this is going to begin a lot of efficient farming. She is very aware of how quickly it takes to farm different camps and her pathing. So you're going to notice a lot of times at the minute mark, Luna is at a jungle camp to stack it or to clear it. It respawns and then clear it again without having to run around. She will make it to areas like here, the dead end pathways, to get here at like, say, 9 minutes, farm it. And then a lot of times, like if you did it earlier, you farm this and you go, oh, this is awkward. I got to run back and there's no camps here. She only comes here as things are respawning so that she can make the farming pattern down and then farm back up here. There's a lot of little efficient things like that that get her an extra 100, 200 gold over, you know, the whole game. So like every minute she's being a little bit more efficient. That is what led to the explosive net worth graph that you saw. This part is a little bit more carry focused, but you could do it from any core role, and even supports will have phases of this. Defensive, explosive farming. So Luna is no longer worried about maintaining equilibrium, being very smart about the CS timings and all that. She is going to shove the lane as much as possible and then jungle around. If kills come to her, she will take it, but she's not going to force kills. It does kind of depend on the hero you play. Like if you play someone a little bit more kill focused, then you can do that. But this carry Smurf really focuses on fast farmers, hit a crazy timing, get the Roche themselves, and just end the game off of like 30k and the first Roche. So that is what this Luna is going to do. So you see here, pushing the lane out again. Should I chase for this Timbersaw kill? Like I'll push a little bit, but I'm not going to take too much risk. These creeps are kind of dying. It's very close. She's kind of baiting here with a little bit of health, very close on the math, and now just going to clear out the creep wave. Timbersaw coming in. He is tempted to get this Luna kill, and very understandably so. If he could get it, that's fantastic. But his math is a little wrong, and the Smurf's math is right. So this Luna clears out the creeps, and then just pops Eclipse and kills the Timbersaw. So again, it's nothing that Luna is doing particularly fancy. It's not like a bunch of button pressing and all that. It's just, I push aggression when I can, and if I can't, I take it easy, and I wait for the opponents to make mistakes. So at this point, she's been given 3 kills and 2 assists. She'd be happy just farming, because even if without the kills, she would have 65 last hits at this point. So no matter what happens, she is pulling ahead of everyone else in the game, waiting to get the power spikes she wants, which goes back to efficient farming. So off of that kill, she didn't feel scared, like I'm going to run all the way home. Oh, I'm sit here. What do I do? She runs up to the creep wave to farm it, even moving towards the hard camp, so that as soon as it spawns, she just gets straight to farming. Timbersaw has to deal with these creeps, so we can't stop her. Do I wait around for the next creeps? Like, am I standing here on my own as a carry? No, I am just straight farming over here. And in fact, she just abandons the lane at this point, which a lot of you carry players need to learn to do. She is just going to start jungling at this point. And if it makes sense to return to the lane to defend it, she will. And if it doesn't make sense, she won't. In this case, her support is gone. Eclipse is down. She is like okay, but not that healthy. So she doesn't come back to lane. She's just gonna jungle and give up the tower. She doesn't care. So many carry players feel required to stay in lane so long, and they die or they farm less because they're like here and they're like, I'm too scared to go fight 2v1. You know, I won't. I'll go jungle. Oh, Zach, well, I play like Spectres and stuff and I can't jungle. Don't play Spectres and stuff. Play heroes like Luna, play like Gyrocopters and Svens who can do all this really early. So like no matter how bad your supports are, okay, I got my jungling item. Can I lane? Then I'll lane. Can I not lane? Then I'll jungle. Don't force yourself into like, I'm a weak carry and I need good supports. That's why I can't climb, because I need good teammates. Just pick heroes that you don't need good teammates, like Luna. Notice the timing. 8:53, Luna finishes the camp, runs over here. This time the timing is a little off. She doesn't make it in time to stack, but she finishes the camp, and then when she runs back here, the boglets are up. So there's no inefficient like, just walking past this, getting back to the next camp. This is where it just gets really efficient for the Luna. You know, she's in this area, doesn't want this stack stolen. You won't always have this stack, and if there was no stack, she would just farm this ancient camp as is, but because there is a stack, because she told the silencer to do it, she's gonna go at it and farm it as safe as possible, while kind of being near here to defend, but she knows it's risky to do on her own, even though she has now amassed a level advantage. Like, let me just show you. She is now level 9 compared to like the level 7 Timber and the level 5 Venomancer. But even then, she knows I can still be killed, so I'm not gonna go crazy, even though I know I'm starting to pull ahead. This is about knowing your limits and knowing when the right timing to do things are. She is very interested in getting to this Manta and getting more items, the tools to work with to outplay her opponents, and if she doesn't have that, she's not gonna force it. So off of doing this, she was here long enough that now she can go back again. She didn't come up here right away, because what if they stuck around? But now this is a safer area, so now she comes to the lane to push this out and then come up a little bit. She knows it's relatively safe because Eclipse is back up, so she is pushing this out. Now here is an important idea I want you guys to know. Carry players, as you AFK farm, and really any role, when your job is to push out a lane, as she kills this catapult, the job is done. There are carry players who, instead of just trying to AFK, they are trying to be useful, but they push it too far. And they think like, I gotta keep going, I gotta kill every creep wave that shows up, I gotta hit the towers. Sometimes that is the case, but a lot of times, as long as the lane is pushing in your favor, that's enough. This creep wave right here is supposed to fight another creep wave that's around here. Now, I'll show you guys in this in the free cam. So as she killed that creep wave we just saw here, these are all extra creeps. So they will push forward, and they might die around here to this creep wave, but then this creep wave will push up and meet this creep wave, and then it'll continue pushing forward. Luna knows that. She knows she has pushed the lane. If it's safe to do so, she would keep going forward. But going back to her perspective and the map awareness, where are they? What if I walk up and I get hit by a Venomancer slow and all of Timbersaw's abilities? She doesn't know he's like this low right now, right? I could die. So she doesn't take that risk and just goes back to jungling. So this is where the mini-map awareness and the time awareness are very important for anyone who's farming and split pushing. Not that fancy, right? Like I'm telling you, look at the map, look at the time. Oh, I can do that. That's easy. Can you do it every 3 seconds consistently so that you know, can I keep pushing here or can I not? That's what the Smurf's been doing. And it's not obvious if you only watch what the Luna hero itself is doing. It's not obvious that the player outside the game is like, looking here, looking here, looking here, looking here, looking here, looking here. That is what lets Luna know, it's too dangerous, I'm gonna go to the jungle, and fortunately, I'm gonna finish farming it and then get a chance to stack as well. Hopefully, she actually mistimed it a little bit here, but you see how close it was. How many times have you done it at this point? Luna's already done it like 5 times at this point. 12-minute mark coming in, gonna make sure the camp is out, so a new ancient camp spawns. 1 trip, 2 ancient camps, gonna clear out another stuff. Can I push this wave? Oh, here's a low health Timber. Timber saw Luna the same time Luna saw him. But did he actually see her? I don't know. Did he think I can clear this and then get out? I don't know. But Timber has made a mistake. Luna has not. So every time The other people in the game makes mistakes, she capitalizes when she gets the chance. Further than that, you can say when Timbersaw's that low and he hasn't seen Luna in a while, he just shouldn't have been here. So there's multiple levels to his mistakes that finally get punished by the Luna. Does she go take the tower? No, I don't care about taking the tower. I care about efficient farming, so I go straight through the jungle again, and at the 13-minute mark, I actually missed a stack, but she tried for a hard camp stack there. These are the things that she will just keep repeating until she hits the power spike she wants, which is the Manta. Doesn't this look familiar, but slightly different? Timbersaw's healthy enough. Luna knows she can kill Timbersaw. If he Timber chains in, she will attack and pop Eclipse, and it will kill Timbersaw. But Timbersaw has to chain towards the Luna, and these creeps have to be dead. So Luna is kind of prodding a little bit here, baiting it to see if he will stick around. He does not. He backs off. So Luna goes, okay, I will never kill him chasing him. It's a waste of my time. He has to come to me. I tried. He didn't do it. Okay, back to farming because 1334, I have to finish pushing out this lane and then make it to the ancient camp and the Boglet camp so that they can respawn at 14 minutes. If he wasted any time chasing further than necessary, he would have just missed out on this bonus gold of getting to farm these and they respawn. But the Smurf always knows, what do I need to get the kill? Is the moment there? Is it gone? I'll act accordingly. And that allows him to be super efficient and keep building this crazy net worth lead. You can try to do this stuff, and over time you should. This is why it's good to hero spam, so that you know what your hero can do, and you can try to streamline your decision-making process. But doing it over a bunch of different heroes, and as is the games develop in different ways, that is the hard part, that you cannot simply replicate what this Smurf is doing. Even as I say, try to farm this way, try to be at jungle camps at 1 minute, or like as the minute mark changes, try to be smart this way and this way. It's good stuff to do, but it's gonna take time to learn exactly when those limits are, exactly how long it takes a hero to come over and farm camps, and it's not something that just watching a Smurf once you can do on your own. If fights happen near the Luna, she will join. So for example, as she is farming, she sees this going on. She thinks she can contribute because, she's level 14 with her ultimate available, but doesn't need it. So she's just going to auto attack and only commit what is necessary. Didn't use the mana on the Manta, didn't waste the Eclipse. So she can get a nether kill with Eclipse or use the Manta to farm efficiently, or maybe TP to join a fight because she has saved enough resources. So only committing as little as necessary to get stuff done, and then using the Manta to push lanes, and then the main hero goes to jungle. This is going to be a trend you're going to see a lot. Right now, it's still a little bit defensive on her own half of the map, but a future trend you'll see is that once the Smurf has hit the threshold they want, they're going to aggressively farm as much as possible on the enemy's half of the map, and it'll be the same thing. They'll use the Manta to push the lanes aggressively while their main hero farms in the jungle, like over here if we're talking aggressively. At this point, I want to mention that you will pretty much never hit 10k at 15 minutes unless you're smurfing in a bracket outside of your own MMR. More realistically, you are like this sniper who had a very good matchup. You want to do that even in bad matchups. You want to win your lane. You want to be very smart with your decisions. That is just more practical, that you will be at the top of the net worth being able to do things. To be a Smurf and be this far ahead will be extremely difficult. But you could try. Like everything I've shown, nothing is that crazy, so you can try to implement it, and the number one thing will be to work on your timing and map awareness. It's just a lot to do. It's very hard to just do it on the dot. So it will take time, and I recommend you play a little bit more to your bracket, like work with teammates, try to organize some stuff. If you're a Smurf and super confident in yourself, you can do things like, oh, Zach, the people are farming in my jungle, like Hoodwink's here, Necro's doing my stacks. You see the Smurf does not care. The Smurf comes in and just farms it like, I will outlast hit this Necro who is going brown boots a blink. He doesn't have a great offlaner in his game, so he's just going to do it on his own. If this guy tilts out, this won't really affect the Smurf, but it probably would affect you, who is not the Smurf, and at best is probably closer to the sniper. And so even though this guy is maybe not amazing, you still need this guy in your game. So that's where you're probably going to have to limit yourself in your actual pub games, but I will kind of leave it up to you. Here, Luna can easily kill this sniper with Eclipse, but she has no gap closing ability or item, and her teammates don't either. So she doesn't just rush at the sniper, because if he backs away, it's a waste of her time. She just continues to farm, and she sees if he walks up too close, I'll get the kill. Okay, seems to have backed off. I want to farm this, but what if I happen to catch sniper in this area? Then I could kill him as I pop out of the trees. So she does a quick little check and then sees, okay, sniper's too far, so now I'm going to back to farm here in a safe manner. She could have come this way, but what if sniper's not alone and there's actually other heroes here? Could have killed her. So there's a lot of moments in this game where it looks like Luna's being given free kills, like in the lane versus the Timbersaw, but the Smurf is checking for this stuff. They are baiting, they are poking a little bit, and if they see the things to get those free kills, they take them. And if not, then straight back to farming in a very safe manner, little risk. That is what the Luna is doing. That is not so obvious if you're just like watching the hero, but there is a lot of thought going into it from the Smurf. Here, they do decide to start pushing. They have amassed quite a lead. Not enough to just win the game right now, but enough to push up with the team, especially as the team had their abilities. So I don't know what level of communication is going on in the game, but Luna did push up with the team behind her. They end up getting a kill thanks to the Blink Necrophos, so sometimes it pays off, right? And then straight back to farming. Send the Mantas down the lane, and then this time she isn't gonna go home. She doesn't TP here. She doesn't TP here to push this other stuff. Oh, Zach, this is me. I want to TP here. No. Luna farms aggressively until she is kicked out. She will stay on the enemy's half of the map as much as possible and then only go home when she has to. If there's a huge wave, maybe she would TP in here, but that is not what allows a Smurf to win. You need to steal the enemy farm to build this kind of lead, and so that is what this Luna wants to do. Whether she is playing Luna, anti-mage, whatever, she wants to farm aggressively and send the Mantas down the lane, and when the team is making a smart decision, she joins. She joined here, she joined for this. The team is now trying to fight without global, pretty aggressive in, no Necrophos ult, he's over here as they are respawning. So does Luna rush over to join her team? No, Luna does the things Luna needs to do. She will use them to the extent that they are technically giving her vision to farm over here, but she does not feel required to run over because she knows this is not a good fight. I just want to keep farming to my Aghanims. So I am making use of this in that she is farming aggressively. And now, okay, it's done, right? Now they're going to move out to get me, so I'm going to send the illusions in. Oh, wait, a little bit of micro here. These are the advanced parts that are a little bit difficult to incorporate. Some level of micro with the Manta in this case. She didn't just like A-click down because those Mantas would have just died to the tower. She keeps it out, waiting for the creep wave, and now these illusions will kill the creeps. So this part's, once I explain it to you, actually quite easy to do, but it does require a little bit of extra button pressing. But if you can do it, it will help a lot to fulfill this idea of aggressive farming. And then, hey, look at this, 18 minutes, timed very well. Here comes the Luna to farm, clear out a camp, and then attempt a stack at the same time. I think she misses it just a little bit here, but small decision making. It was kind of close, right? Did she farm the hard camp and then, oh, I missed the timing of the ancient camp? No. Made sure the ancient camp, the most valuable one, would be killed and respawn on time. And if she gets the extra hard camp, great, but she made sure to prioritize the most valuable one. So it's all these little things that are adding up every time to get a little bit more money. And any particular trick, like if you jump anywhere in this video and you're like, that's not that fancy, I do that. It's doing them all every single time, which will get you to 14,000 net worth at 18 minutes. No individual mistake, no individual little efficiency play will get you here. It's all of them combined. I'm gonna jump backwards a little bit so I can show you this cycle that has been going on. Farms the enemy's half of the map at the start of the minute mark, sends the Manta down the lane. This is that bad fight earlier that they didn't join. So she sticks around a little longer than usual, but the Manta pushes down the lane. She comes and jungles her own stuff as the minute mark changes, so it respawns, and now she makes her way, in this case, over here because the timing just worked out, and other times you would just go to the enemy's half of the map. Otherwise, she is now up here as the next minute spawns. She farms the enemy's Jungle camps. If she feels safe, she stays. Otherwise, she goes back. Manta down the lane, and then back here. Doesn't want to actually join the fight that her team is doing. Has decided too many enemy heroes are missing. Hoodwinks here. This is not a smart fight, so I will not join. So I am now over here as we get close to the next minute mark and things are going to respawn. Oh, maybe I will join this fight actually based on info that has shown up. So she throws the ult, gets a couple kills. I guess just one kill. Oh, it doesn't even get that kill actually. I thought she did. Anyways, she tries, goes, okay, I'm not going to chase that much. I am now here at the start of the minute mark. I am going to farm the enemy's half of the map. I am going to send the Manta illusions down, and then I am going to back to my own half of the map so I can jungle stuff. And then as it is about to change on the minute mark, things are respawning. Boom. Now I farm this on my way back out. Wisdom Shrine, sure, why not? Farm this stuff. As I'm gathering information this whole time looking at here, I'm going to come to the enemy's half of the map as it gets close to the next minute. And here's where you like take as much risk as you can or not, depending on the hero you're playing. Luna at this point has amassed an insane lead. So now the Smurf will start taking more crazy plays. And in this case, even though a lot of heroes are missing, so for example, this fight, right? Like, Venno throws a bunch at her. She gets Wyvern ulted. She gets chronoed. She has more net worth than all these heroes currently trying to kill her combined. And so they get about half of her, and then she just kills them. It gets a little close. Okay, 4 staff out, TP. Don't even bother trying for more. Don't stick around to help the team. That is where the Smurf is starting to take more risk. Didn't strictly have to do that stuff, but it is calculated risk in that it's not the start of the game. This is not a 600 gold Luna versus 600 gold Venomancer. This is the Luna with the insane net worth. Realistically, in our own games, you will not be able to get this far. And if you're a support player, you will not be able to make a core this strong. But what you're hoping is that, the core is 12,000 gold, right? That would be more attainable. 12,000 gold Luna, who does go a little bit too hard. She takes this fight, but she comes out with a kill or two before being killed herself, but then hopefully the rest of the team joins and then wins the fight, right? Like, you try to push your cores to be richer than the enemies so that when they do make dumb choices or they take risks, it works out because they're rich, as opposed to being the poorer core making a bad decision and then it doesn't work because you're poor. Those are what are a little bit more realistic for your own pub games, especially for support players who can't, be the ones implementing these farm patterns. But what the Smurf has been working towards, which is now I am strong enough to start just forcing it. And, okay, well, actually, that was a little too close, so I TP home, and I continue to amass the gold lead. To save us some time, I'm just going to jump ahead. Luna has been repeating this pattern, farming aggressively, falling back as necessary, join fights when they're good, avoid fights that are bad. And at this point, she is now pretty much slotted, about to hit 25. She's going to get Aegis herself and then just end the game in one go. I checked a couple of this account boosters games. They all follow a similar pattern where she hits this insane net worth lead. She literally couldn't get stronger. You could buy minuscule stuff, but it's not necessary. This is enough. She gets Aegis, looks for one major fight, and then just megas the entire base in one go. Doesn't bother dealing with a bunch of sieging that requires good team coordination. She just gets to a crazy amount of money on her own, gets the Aegis on her own, finds a free kill kind of like this. Is it always this one? No, it could be something else, but she plays smart, knowing she has 5 minutes of Aegis to work with, and then at some point, being the Smurf, she will not make mistakes, the enemy will, and then once she gets that mistake, she will then walk in and end the game, kind of like this. So off that Timber being killed, they now find the sniper, and then she just gets one mega, barracks, here's the next one, because she's 25 and she's a Luna, and then here's the next one. She only needed one mistake. She only needed the Timber to step up too far, and then she's completed the game. How do I play like a Smurf is often followed by how do I beat Smurfs? And I'm gonna hit you with the cold hard reality, you don't beat Smurfs. Look at this Luna. She is 30,000 net worth. She has over double the amount of money as anyone on the Dire team. You don't beat this Luna, but it doesn't matter. That is the shining light in these types of games. It doesn't matter. Let me get back to that. Let me show you some stuff. Winter Wyvern here. Let's pretend this game's a little closer. We're in the final moments. How do we win this game as the Dire? it's gonna have to come from a high ground hold. Winter Wyvern, the nice thing about an enemy carry who's this farmed, she will kill her teammates. So Winter Wyvern with a Blink Dagger should be keeping her distance, waiting for the ultimate. They need the teammates to be respawned. They need these guys up. But instead, Wyvern just walks too close in the daytime. Luna sees her and then just drops the ult, kills the Wyvern. So this is a mistake from the Wyvern. It has nothing to do with Smurfs. It has nothing to do with bad teammates. Wyvern just made her own mistake, walking up and dying for no reason, just as the hero is respawning. And now is the time you potentially take a final fight with Chrono and with like whatever you do have. Hopefully you have like Winter's Curse. Again, this game, it doesn't really matter, but you see a mistake that Wyvern makes that there was no reason to make. If you think someone is smurfing, you need to punish them early while they are just a mortal level 1 hero with 600 net worth, just like all of us. As we've seen, you give them time, they're gonna get to 30,000 net worth, and you're not gonna be able to deal with it. So if you think someone is smurfing because you played with them before, they have a low amount of games and a high win rate, stuff like that, you gotta mess with them. You don't want to be doing stuff like Sniper, messing around over here, goofing off, and as part of being a good support, you don't want to be over here warding in the middle of the laning stage anyways. You want to be here harassing the Abaddon, harassing the Chaos Knight, because this is when there's a lot of impact in the game. Whoever gets these early kills and snowballs, look at this. If Silencer had been in the lane earlier harassing Chaos Knight, this is a kill already. If Sniper wants to kill this Abaddon, he needs to be kiting forward with the auto attacks. He would have to kite to the right because this tree's here, but he's actually low and has all his tangos, so he can actually eat this tree and kite inwards to auto attack. And because Sniper and Silencer made these mistakes, both Chaos Knight and Abaddon are going to get away here. But if Sniper or Silencer had played a little better in their own individual ways, they just got the potentially first blood right before it happened in the top side, but at least they would get a kill in their lane even if it's not the first blood, and they could get going. Because the thing to beat Smurfs, they don't really care about the game. They're smurfing, the account means very little to them, they're just there for the thrill of it. If their account boosting, they can climb so fast. Any individual game doesn't matter. You gotta break them mentally, and it's usually at the start of the game, killing them in the lane when the enemy support is bad. You are 2v1ing because you are the good support, you are the good core. Or, oh, it's a mid laner, get your lane in a good spot, roam over, get the runes, gank them, then they're like, my team's trash, camped mid, blah, 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 you think you're good, I'm a Smurf, you're nothing to me, right? They start raging. That is the only way you beat the Smurf, because if you give them time, they will amass a huge lead. Kind of like this lead. The Abaddon did eventually recover, a little less money than the last game, but you see they're slotted, the first Aegis. They are following the formula. They farmed with the Manta, they built a lead, and now they're looking to break the game. But this time the Smurf does make a mistake because they are not foolproof players, right? Jumps in kind of far. Axe is not here. Now we can say this is Axe's mistake, but still the Smurf should not do this if Axe is not here, but didn't happen to see it till now. And you see he's getting mad. He starts pinging, and this is where, even though this guy is so rich, even though he has Aegis, it is time to pause and ping his teammates who are bad, because even though he is so farmed, he can be killed on his own. So if you do get to the late game, you've got to do kind of one of two things. Either find a case where the Smurf is on their own, which is rare, or you kill the teammates who are presumably in your rank as well, and they will make mistakes. So you have to kill the Axe, kill the Silencer, things like that. Find these kills, and then you can kill the Smurf, who is super rich. But even when you're super rich, if everyone is focusing you, right, these guys have like 60k between the rest of the heroes, so that is more than the 24k on the Abaddon. That's what you need. You need to isolate the Smurf somehow, either through their own overconfidence or by dealing with the non-Smurf teammates first. Are you telling me to beat a Smurf, I need to play well in the laning stage? I need to try to harass them and get kills, and then throughout the game I should try to gank them or punish the team who is making mistakes and then try to capitalize on that timing before the Smurf is ready, or maybe in the late game, like make a smart team movement to win? But that sounds like just how I should beat regular. Oh my God, it's the same. It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter if someone is a Smurf. It doesn't matter if they are bad. Teammates are bad. They're good. They're Smurfs. It doesn't matter. It never mattered. It was always about your own gameplay and improving and getting to the point where you make very few mistakes. At the pro level, they start at very minimal mistakes, so they have to do all sorts of little fancy things to try to pull an edge over the opponents. They have to, do some crazy creep equilibrium. They have to like drop items, wand, pick it up in the microseconds in the middle of a fight, disassemble Aeon discs, rip, stuff like that. They had to do all sorts of fancy tricks. You don't have to do that. I didn't show any fancy tricks from the Luna, or in this case, the Abaddon game, which I barely showed, but there was no fancy stuff. It was just very consistent fundamentals with minimal mistakes. And that's what you need to do, whether you are playing versus Smurf or regular players. You need to minimize your own mistakes and work on making the best decision in any given situation. And the reality is that takes time. It takes hard work. You got to watch educational stuff like this on other content creators, the streamers, right? You have to be slowly absorbing information to work on making the best decision at any given moment. That's why you don't have to get angry when like, oh, my team threw this game. It doesn't matter. You had learning moments in that game. Oh, there's a Smurf in this game. I know it sucks. It doesn't matter. There are still learning moments in that game. And then there will be times where it does matter. There are no Smurfs. There are no bad teammates. Everyone is doing their best. And your decision making will make the difference at that moment. You better have been practicing in all those other situations to pull it in at this final moment. You've got to make the right choice. That is how you will gain MMR, by consistently doing that over time. As a final note, you cannot win every single game. Even this Smurf who is playing like 10,000 MMR below his rank, he lost some games. So for the regular average player, if you think I have to win to feel happy and to improve at this game, you're just not going to be. Like, even with the 60% win rate, 40% of the time you're unhappy, and that's really unhealthy. That is sad, guys. So change your mindset. I can improve every single game. And that is what matters. Every single game is like a +3 MMR. Whether you win or you lose, I worked on my last hitting. I worked on my map awareness. I worked on learning this new hero so I can diversify my hero pool and pick good heroes for the game, right? Whatever it is, you can improve every single game. Smurfs, account buyers, bad teammates, doesn't matter. Every single game, there's something to improve on. And that way, every single game, you can feel worthwhile. You can feel happy about like, I did this, I got better at this. I'm pretty happy with that. That is a much healthier mentality to have that will also lead you to improving at the game. Now, how fast it is kind of depends on you. Like, some people pick stuff up faster than others, but again, it just doesn't matter. Just go about it slowly, work on things step by step. And as a second final note, this guy's on 3 losses in a row since starting to play his own account, because a Smurf may boost your metal up, but they don't teach you to not draw creep aggro. They don't teach you to not walk under a tower and miss your blood grenade. They don't teach you that as a level 1 hero into the level 2 timing, you shouldn't stand aggressively versus mobile carries who will just jump forward and kill you. So don't spend your money on account boosting. You might as well spend it on coaching. It doesn't have to be me unless you want it to be, but you might as well spend your money improving at the game so that when it's done, you can actually keep the MMR you gained.